Today we will be talking about teaching literacy skills to 10th grade students in diverse classrooms. Uh, First, let's start off with some specific developmental characteristics of the 10th graders. So from an emotional and psychological standpoint, these students often have a clear sense of identity and are capable of being reflective and self-aware. So they're going to be learning about themselves, reflecting upon it, and becoming more well-rounded in their education. A social characteristic is peer acceptance is viewed more important than adult approval. This is why you'll start to see teens usually act out because they want the acceptance of their friends and their peers. So they're going to express themselves through, certain slang, music choice, clothing, and behavior. Some moral and ethical characteristics are developing a personal ethic instead of following a prescribed set of values and code of behavior. So they're kind of going to base what's right and wrong off their own personal beliefs from what they've learned so far in their lives already. And their view of the world is going to shift from an egocentric standpoint, so as in like everything revolves around them, to more being focused on relationships and community. A physical characteristic is that they're going to be consistently growing. This is very important time. This is puberty, and it's going to have them experiencing a change in body image, and it's going to, have them looking at themselves and self-consciously being aware. That's why you tend to see students this age kind of become self-conscious, have a little bit of a low self-esteem because their bodies are changing and they're trying to learn how to adapt with that. And then a cognitive characteristic is that the reasoning becomes less absolute, and that allows for a more flexible thinking style that, knowledge can be relative to context. It's not just straight yes or no, this is right, this is wrong. It's just based on what they're studying, what the answer could be. So let's talk about some standards, and standard I want to talk about is reading literature, and this is for grades 9 through 10. And I want to focus on the standard that you determine a theme or a central idea of a text and analyze it in detail, its development over the course of the text, including how it emerges and is shaped and refined by specific details. And they're also going to learn how to provide an objective summary of the text. Students read and respond to works of literature, and they're going to have an emphasis on comprehension, vocabulary acquisition, and making connections among ideas and between texts with a focus on textual evidence. Some of the types of text we can use to get students thinking and focused on this standard. As for an imaginative text, like fiction, I'd like to use The Perks of Being a Wallflower, because it's kind of like a coming of age book and it fits well with this age group of students, and there's no cultural bias to it, which it's just this kid learning to be okay with himself. And I think that these kids need that type of, text to help them understand who they are. And then as for an informative or expository text, one to be focused on would be like President Barack Obama's speech to students about what their plan is. This one is culturally unbiased as well, and it's going to help these students realize that they have their own responsibilities, and it's not just focused on what other people are doing for them, but what they can do for themselves. And then, a strategy that I would like to use in the classroom that helps build upon reading literature and helping these students determine a theme and a central idea in text is going to be popcorn reading. And it sounds very basic and like elementary, but it's simple and it's fun, and it gets the students reading aloud, and it gets them reading together, and that's going to help them practice their reading comprehension and their proficiency. So yes. Now, reflecting on personal bias and assessing resources to deepen personal understanding of culture, ethnic, gender, and learning differences is critically important for ethical practices, building strong relationships, and creating relevant learning experiences, because every student is different. And with the diverse classroom, you're going to have multiple different races, cultural backgrounds, and the more that you take the information you have on these students and you become personal with it and you get to know these students, you build a connection with them. You make them feel safe in the classroom, and that allows them to want to express themselves in the classroom and learn and achieve some type of academic success. And then we're going to go over the statement of integration of faith and work. So pretty much the key principles are human value and dignity, empathy, respect, and value for the human condition. Implementing these into our classroom and our literacy instruction is going to give these students a well-rounded education. They're not only going to learn different types of literacy skills, but they're also going to learn how to be kind, how to be respectful, and how to be generous to everybody. They're going to take their differences and use them to lift each other up instead of pull each other apart. And I think that's something that we as a people need to do, is we need to bring everybody together, because the more together we are, the further we can go. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation. Have a nice day.